I want to be very careful about how I say this because it is very serious and very real. Donald Trump is not cutting government waste. He is deciding who gets to live. Now, I know that sounds extreme. I know that it sounds like hyperbole, but I want you to stay with me for this entire video because by the time we get to the end, you are going to see a pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every single major policy that this administration has pushed over the last year targets the same group of people. And this is not by accident. This is by design. So let's start with the food supply. RFK Jr., handpicked by Trump, has been actively rolling back restrictions on chemicals and food additives. The ones that hit the elderly the hardest. The ones that hit the chronically ill the hardest. They're not reinstating them. They are rolling them back. Health insurance. He stripped coverage from millions of Americans through Medicaid cuts. Not hundreds of thousands, millions. Real people just gone. The food stamps have been gutted. The people standing in line at the food bank, they are the ones that are on the list. Affordable housing has been blocked. And when the affordable housing bill came up, do you know what this monster said? He called it a big yawn. That is a direct quote. A big yawn. While people are sleeping in their cars in his country. The disabled, he is not proposing to help them. What he is proposing is institutionalization for these people. Lock them away, out of sight, off the books. The homeless, same policy, same destination. And poverty, bankruptcy, he is not fighting for that. He is engineering it. Hey, if you find this video helpful or you think that you know somebody who might need to hear this, please give it a share, subscribe, comment, and maybe even like it. I appreciate that. Now back to the video. Okay, so now I want you to look at that list. The elderly, the chronically ill, the food insecurity, the unhoused, the disabled, the working poor being pushed into bankruptcy. Every single person on that list has one thing in common. They cannot make this man any more money than he has already extracted from them. And they cost the system that he is trying to own. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. But wait, it gets worse. Because there is more that they are not talking about on the mainstream news. Social Security, the official 2026 Trustees Report, that is a government document, not an opinion, confirmed that Trump's own policies have moved the Social Security depletion date up to 2032. That is just 6 years from now. People who worked for 40 years, paid into it their entire lives, are being told that it might not be there. Mike Johnson is already floating the idea of raising the retirement age, right? And then there's Medicaid work requirements. The one big bullshit bill now requires millions of Medicaid recipients to prove that they are working or they lose coverage. Like, what the hell is that? The exemptions are deliberately narrow. Cancer patients are being dropped. Chronically ill people are being dropped. And the Trump administration added last-minute restrictions that made it even worse than what Congress had passed. And then there's the drinking water. The EPA just proposed eliminating the country's first national drinking water contamination limits. At the exact same time, they proposed a 90% cut in funding for lead pipe replacements. Lead pipes, the ones that poison children, the ones that run through poor neighborhoods and rural communities. He is removing the rules that kept poison out of poor people's tap water. Now, just let that sink in. No pun intended. And then there's veterans. Doge-driven cuts have gutted the VA. An internal memo leaked showing plans to restructure how service-connected disabilities are evaluated under lesser criteria. That means lower benefits or no benefits for people who served this country. The people who gave this country everything are on the cull list too. But wait, we're not done. The Trump administration is also moving to reverse a 2024 rule that expanded who qualifies for SSI, Supplemental Security Income, for people with disabilities. That expansion helps some of the most vulnerable people in our country access basic income support. They're just rolling it back, specifically targeting the disabled again. Meanwhile, the NRDC is tracking what they are calling an unprecedented attack on environmental and public health protections, air quality, coal ash, methane, water. The rollbacks are projected to cause thousands of additional deaths. Thousands. Guys, disproportionately in poor and rural communities. These are not accidents. These are policy choices with a known body count. So let me ask you something. What do you call it when one administration, in less than 2 years, strips health insurance from millions, guts food stamps, poisons the water supply, accelerates the collapse of Social Security, cuts veterans' benefits, pushes to institutionalize the disabled and homeless, and engineers poverty and bankruptcy for working families? What is the word for that? It is not chaos. It is not incompetence. It is not even cruelty for cruelty's sake. This is the deliberate, systematic removal of every person who is no longer profitable, every person who costs the machine more than they generate. That is what culling the herd means, everybody. And we are watching it happen in real time, in policy language. So excuse me if I call the man a freaking monster. He is not out to run this country. He is out to claim this country. And he wants to get rid of anything that would cost him money, or he wants to get rid of the ones that he can no longer extract from. So here is what you do with this. First, you name it out loud, because the moment that we stop calling this out for what it is, it'll win. Say the words. Cull the herd. Second, check on the people around you who are on this list. The elderly neighbor, the friend on Medicaid, the veteran down the street, the family that just lost their housing assistance. You don't need a policy to show up for people. Third, share this video. Not because I want views, but because somebody in your life needs to see this big picture. Somebody who thinks that this is all just politics as usual. They need to understand that the pattern is real and that the stakes are life and death. From our own president, our own government. We don't get many good days in the news, but knowing the truth and naming it, that is where it starts. I'll see you in the comments. Hang in there, everybody. There's more coming.